So that's how shit is now. I don't even fucking bother with no countdowns. I just count it down the old fashioned way. We'll use cue cards and shit.
Use sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I was telling you, like, I don't know, just got a wild hair up my ass and decided I wanted to try to stream tonight. I haven't really advertised this anywhere. I don't really even know if anybody knows about it. Probably not, but we're gonna do it. By God.
Bill O'Reilly said, "Do it live. Do it live."
So you know tonight, Rambo, that Severin is getting ready to pop a sale on us here. I think right now at some point. Uh, I hope that's tonight. I think that's tonight. It's either tonight or tomorrow. If it's not tonight, then I don't really give a shit. In terms of like, I don't really give a shit about this sale that much anyway. Honestly, just using this as an excuse to get on here and BS around.
Yeah, I think they said tonight at what says
Oh,
here
yeah.
12:01 a.m. So I guess maybe they're July 13th.
All right. You ready for this?
So it should be.
I found it.
All right.
The Saturday only box sale from Severin. And this is not as huge as the other ones have been. So you've got that giant ass 14 disc Blu-ray box set of folk horror, All the Haunts Be Ours, which is half off at $125. That's still way too high for me for that particular thing. The 6 disc Cushing Curiosities box set. That's a pretty good deal though. $67 for 6 discs, a book, 200-page book, and all kinds of other stuff. Tony Danza Macabre, Volume 1, 4 disc Blu-ray set for $49. Those I don't think those are selling that well, man.
If it
Yeah.
had the actual Tony Danza, I would probably buy one.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Tony Danza try to fight vampires and
Wouldn't that be killer? That'd be an awesome idea. Like, somebody should just make that movie. Tony Danza's still around. He's not doing anything. Just have like Tony Danza fight like Dracula and the Wolfman.
yeah, just take Bordello Blood, but instead of Dennis Miller, starts Tony Danza. That'd be a winner.
House of Psychotic Women, which, like I was saying, that's like every house that has a woman in it. But that is $52. Nasty Habits, the Nunsploitation Collection. That pisses me off because I bought that when it was expensive, and it's $45 now. Those are supposed
Was
to
it
be
over 100 when
I
you
think
bought it?
No, it wasn't over 100, but I think it was like it was 80 to $90, I think, when I bought it, or somewhere in that range. This is right when it first came out. The complete Lindsay Baker's Yellow collection, which I will probably get that. It's $60. The Dungeon of Andy Milligan is 90, which I can't not hear Christian from last night saying the Dungeon of Andy Milonakis. Yeah. Euro Crypt of Christopher Lee Collection number 2 with 7 Blu-rays at $67. And 9 in the first set, which is also $67. Those movies must suck ass, man. How many movies did Christopher Lee make, by the way? I bet it's over 200 if I was to guess.
I think that's a good guess.
The Incredibly Strange Films of Ray Dennis Steckler, which I cannot get over the fact of how much that whoever is on the cover of that looks like Jake Gyllenhaal with his head shaved. And that makes me hate that box set even more.
I have seen some of those movies, and that ain't worth $5. That whole box set.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not though.
The reason I saw some of them was because that was the time when Joe Bob Briggs was doing commentaries for like a bunch of movies, and for some reason he decided to have a boner for Ray Dennis Steckler,
Yeah.
and I have no idea why, because like the Incredibly Strange Creatures and they ain't worth a pot to piss in. They ain't worth jack squat. So good luck for you. Blood Shack, also known as the Chooper,
Blood
more like
Jack.
the more like the shitter. It's awful. Good luck on those movies, man. They ain't getting $110 from anybody. I don't even think his own family would buy that for $110.
That's bad. The Central World of Black Emmanuel is $144. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Violent Streets, I do have an interest in because I've seen 2 movies that are in this, and I haven't seen the others. And those 2 movies are really, really good. Almost Human and Syndicate Sadist are really, really good. Um, I don't know anything about the other movies, but I imagine that they're still pretty much the same. And then the Birdemic trilogy is $22. They must really not give a shit about Birdemic.
And no one should.
So, I mean, I'll be honest, in terms of this sale, this is 100% the best altogether, with last night and tonight, the best Severin sale there's ever been. By far. So we've
Do
got.
you think that's because it was just a matter of time? Like they just had so much stuff that no one was buying. It was almost like a last resort of this is going to stockpile. You have to get rid of something.
I honestly don't know what it was about this year, but like up until this past year, Severin has always just been kind of shitty. And they've always kind of been lagging behind everybody else. And this year, it's like they kicked it up into a gear that I didn't even know that they had, and just started putting out like month after month of like at least one good title and sometimes multiple good titles. And then like this sale is the first time I've ever known them to have a sale where they actually really discounted stuff. So the momentum for me on Seven right now is going like full steam. Like I've never seen them actually try. Like I always just kind of felt like Severin was the company, just didn't give a shit. Like David Gregory and them just like, we don't care if you buy our stuff or not. Like we're not interested in, trying to be popular or anything like that. But I guess that changed. Let's see what. So we got a bunch of people in here, man. Lawn Furniture, Jerry L, Business of Fear, Ryan Ashley, Goblins Inc., Justin Smith, Rob Zilla, Carter Dention, Ronnie Thrillsap, Alfa Romero, Gaming with Power. Lots of people. Yeah. So I bought. This is Carter said he got Grizzly Blue with a slip for some. I had a $10 gift card that they sent for that shitty Kathy's Curse box that I bought that didn't work. I bought the Midnight slipcase. I bought one of those, and I bought the other Hell, which is a nunsploitation film, kind of Blu-ray and everything, and it was like $9. I still had money left over on that gift card. I got them for free, basically. So, I mean, this sale is not bad. Crash says he bought 10 movies last night for about $89.93 with shipping. Don't see anything I want to buy tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That right there, 10 movies for less than $100.
Yeah.
That used to be common back in the day. Now that's like unheard of. So that tells you how good of a sale it is. I mean, Kino Lorber, I would say, is the one that does those sales as well. Like, but you're not going to do that with Stream Factory. That would buy you maybe 2 movies.
Yeah, that's
if
legitimately almost true. Yeah. You get 2 movies.
your Lost in Space 4K, where the fuck they have.
Oh my god, dude! When I saw like the Child's Play remake 4K, and I saw like that'll be something I'm going to do here in a minute. I'm going to look up the last couple of months of Screen Factory's releases just for the hell of it. It's really hilarious. Gaming with Power 52 says he just picked up Death Machine and the Perfect Weapon Blu-ray, so that's cool.
Good.
This is Severin's 83-week run. That's probably true, yeah. I don't know if they can hang on to this momentum, but for right now, they're on top. Jerry L says the Lindsay Baker set is good, definitely recommended, and a good price on the folk set. Hey, that's one thing you can say about us, right? Like, we call them as we see them. Like,
Yeah.
when they were shitty, we said they were shitty. When, in my opinion, they got good, we said they were good. Like, we didn't hold grudges against them. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, if you're putting out good products and stuff like that, like, to me, you deserve to be recognized. If you're putting out a bunch of bullshit and you don't care about anything and like you're shitting on customers, then you deserve to be hazed. So,
And yeah, that's the serious. In all seriousness, you just want things, companies, people to do better because it benefits everybody. Better deals, better releases. You
yeah.
want things to do better. If you're not critical ever, then it just can whatever. If you think they're doing a mediocre business and people think they're grade A, they will continue the mediocre business. They don't think they have to do better. And people's like, well, I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's not about hurting feelings or anything. It's about there's a potential to do better. This is an example of that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I personally will accept full responsibility for Severin's turnaround. I think it was Dead Pitt that got him. That got him. They were like, "God, we're getting shit on left and right. We should probably like do something." See right here, I can't pronounce his name, but Kombikalog says that he never buys from Severin, and this sale got him for $200. So
Here you go.
Noah says he wants the Emmanuel box set. Have I ever listened to a Luke Combs song called Hurricane? No.
I never wanted after lately. Any saw a hurricane? I can't ever listen to Rock You Like a Hurricane for another. Give me another year.
Anything with hurricane in it, I don't think you'll be like listening to.
Real quickly, someone mentioned Emmanuel. What was ever the appeal of Emmanuel?
Buddy, I
never really understood it.
I wish I could tell you. I've never understood it either. Like, there's some people that absolutely love those films, and I think Jess Franco did a couple of those films and shit. But like, I've never understood that. Like softcore porn, I don't know what even the hell those movies are exactly, except softcore porn kind of thrillers or something. Like, I don't understand any of those movies like that, or why people gravitate towards those. But that's a whole subgenre.
It's kind of like those witchcraft movies where there were like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Like everywhere on VHS. It's like Witchcraft 14. And I'm like, I didn't know there was a first one. On a 14th one.
I know. I think there's like over 20 of those fucking movies now.
And what's weird, did they ever, not that I care about a release, but did they ever get a release from anybody? Considering how many films they are? So you would think there was an audience.
I don't know what though. I'd love to know the deal behind those movies, like why they made so many of them. Because I don't know. I'm sure at one time there was an audience for those, but I feel like after part 10 or so, there probably wasn't. They just keep making them. Like, I don't know what to do. Eric Perry says, do I need the Birdemic trilogy? No. Do I want it? No. Am I going to buy it? Yes, probably. I mean, $22 for 3 films in a box set like that is pretty good. Those movies suck ass, but I mean, that's a good deal.
You're paying more than the budget was for them.
No, I don't want the Amityville fucking remake with Ryan Reynolds from Scream Factory. I also don't want the Island of Dr. Moreau, and I also don't want, the vast majority. I can't wait to look at that list in a minute. The Shiveled says, I'm thinking about buying Danzig sings Italian Gothic collection. Should I? Yeah, go for it. Screen Factory just had a going out of print sale, and they said these titles are gone, and they're all back up to full price. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's see. Frightful says I picked up 12 titles in the Kathy's Curse slipcase. Took a lot of your guys' recommendations last night. That's good.
So what all did you buy the other night?
Dude, I'm almost kind of ashamed to talk about it, but
Don't be
uh
ashamed. It's fun.
um I
You only
really
live
kind of
once.
that's true. Be living in debt. Uh no. Um I bought that Argento bundle, which is now sold out, so I'm kind of glad that I did. Um
Oh,
I bought
okay.
I bought because I'm a huge fan of opera, and always wanted to see that TV stuff that he did, and I've never seen it. So I just went ahead and bought the bundle.
Yeah.
And then once I found out, because we were going along, and then found out that all those other like Blu-rays were like 750 and $5 and shit like that. I went back and ended up spending like $60 or so with tax on those, and then went back again, got the gift cards out, and used my gift cards like and just because I mean, there's no way that stuff's staying in print for that how cheap it is. A lot of that stuff will be sold out. Um, so I would venture to say I about $220 altogether, something like that.
Okay.
That's a good point. Where is the Severin or Vinegar Syndrome witchcraft? You would think that one of those companies would put that out.
Yeah, Vinegar, I think, because they used to do a lot of the adult titles, so it fits.
Yeah. More Bruno Mattei. That's true. Beyond the Darkness. See, I get Beyond Darkness and Beyond the Darkness mixed up. Those are both movies that Severin
Mm.
has right now. I think Beyond the Darkness is the Joe D'Amato one, where it's essentially like if you like those movies like Necromantic, it's kind of like an early version of Necromantic. It's just about a guy that keeps like a dead body of this woman um with him in his I can't remember if it's in his room or how that works exactly in a bathtub, something, and he just keeps, murdering people to keep them from finding out what's going on. I think it's based on a true story. I think that actually happened, or a version of that happened. Beyond Darkness is just a goofy, crazy ass, evil, deadish kind of movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, Joe D'Amato. I think Absurd is his best movie card, if I'm being honest. Like the more I think about it, the more I think I just love that movie. And George Eastman in that movie too.
Is
Um,
that the one that's kind of like a Halloween
yeah,
ripoff?
yeah, it is a Halloween. I mean, he's definitely playing Michael, except it's like 1,000 times more graphic than Michael Myers about how he kills people. And there's a whole subplot about this little girl who's like immobilized with this fucking back brace like thing on and all this stuff. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, Kino is still having a sale right now too. So right now, you've gone, we've gone through the Vinegar Syndrome sale while Kino was having a sale, then the Severin sale. Screen Factory was having a sale somewhere in the middle of all this. Arrow is still having a sale, which is the Camp Arrow sale that's going on right now. I don't think there's a company that hasn't had a sale. I mean, honestly, like any of the bigger name boutique label companies. That's a good point. We haven't done one of those shows in forever, and I don't know why. We need to do another one for Italian horror films.
Does Synapse ever have sales?
No, not that I know of. Like a lot of their titles have sales on other sites, but Synapse themselves, I
Gotcha.
don't know if they ever have sales, really.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, this is good advice. Never ever buy Deep Blood, which is like a shark movie and one of the most boring fucking movies of all time. The oven scene in Absurd. Yeah, that
Um,
scene sticks with me as well. Yeah, okay. So Grindhouse Video right now is having a Synapse sale. So their Synapse stuff will be discounted.
okay.
Justin says Synapse never has direct sales. Well, I guess that's true. I've never known them to.
Hmm.
Let me ask you a question, Remo. Any of this stuff that you would be interested in that's on here? I mean, not the box sales, but just anything.
Yeah, I was looking. I watched the stream last night with you guys on there, and I mean, there's stuff I've heard. Wild Beast is one of them. I've
Oh
heard
yeah.
some weird things about that. Some crazy backstory. But I know was a Curt Detention. It's one of you guys. You've seen the film. It's like it's about animals get PCP'd and they go crazy out of the zoo. Uh, but it's like I think does it like a cow get slaughtered by a lion, sadly for real, because they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and rats get burned alive. Like apparently not almost as bad as Milo Notice with the animal
Hold
cruelty.
on. I did not know that. What was it
That's
called
what I
again?
remember hearing. Wild Beasts,
Wild Beast.
and it's an Italian film, so that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense. The
Wild
Italians
Beast.
just did not
Yeah,
give a shit.
yeah. I heard there's a lot of like. Isn't the opening like they kill horses to feed the lions and
Dear
or
Lord.
tigers or something?
750 right now. Let's see. What follows a terrifying mix of actual animal attacks supervised by professional circus trainers. Oh god, I bet that went over well, yeah. And over the top 80s Italian gore that remains the greatest eco revenge shocker in Euro cult history. Hugo Baloney's in it. That can't be a real name. Hugo Baloney. That's killer.
It's a Hugo Bologna.
That might be one of the best Italian names I've ever seen. Uh, all right. Well, I mean, it's got Hugo Bologna in it. It can't be half bad.
So, if
Oh,
anyone in the chat, if you've seen it, if you could confirm again, the for those who got in, the stuff I heard about this film is again like a cow got killed by a lion, and that's in the film, and rats got burned for real, and that was in the film, and like apparently like a lot of other real animal stuff, because again, it's an Italian film, so they knew what they were doing.
oh yeah. Um,
Yeah, maybe not as bad as Milo and Otis, but
how many
was that?
actual dogs and
Yeah.
cats died in that fucking movie making that thing? It was something crazy.
What's sad, I saw that when I was a kid. I thought it was like cute. Oh, Dudley Moore is narrating this cute, and then I heard the story. I'm like, this
Yep.
is horrifying. This is more horrifying than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's all these cute kittens, and it's like it's a graveyard now of bodies.
I mean, it was bad. We eventually wanted to do, and I think may still do a Terror in Tinseltown about Milo and Otis. Like it's so crazy, man. What happened? 6 dogs and 15 cats. Dear God, man, that's like it's like a genocide of animals for just make that damn movie.
Jeez.
Uh, Carter, you missed this part, but I actually already bought that last night with my gift card. That's one of the ones that I got. Did I order the Lindsay shit? Not yet. I'm getting ready to though. I'm hoping that it doesn't. It'd be my luck it would just sell out all of a sudden. Brainer
Don,
says,
yeah,
I bought the Church Burial Ground Midnight with the Slip and Babology media books yesterday. Today, I think I'm going to pass. See, I thought I was going to get at least like Nightmare because I mean, I don't hate that movie. I just don't think it's a good movie. I just think it's an average
I
movie.
agree. It's not that
Uh,
good of a movie.
it's not that good movie. But then I was like, if it, it's going to be cheap, so I'll pick it up. And it's still like $34. I'm like, I'm not fucking spending $34 on that movie. Like, I'm just not. It's not worth $34. I'm just going to tell you.
No, it's a poor version of Maniac. It has a couple decent things. I think the controversy with Tom Savini was a more interesting story than the movie's story.
Yeah. I tell you something you need to watch too, Rambo. That's funny. Even though I don't like Tom Savini for personal reasons,
The
obviously.
Ripper.
Yeah, the
Who
not the
does the
Ripper, not the movie, just the featurette where he like bashes the shit out of the movie. That's one of the best things. So
is
on
that
the
only
new,
on the Blu-ray?
yeah, I think so. Like I don't know if that's on. I can't be on anything else. I don't think so. On the new Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, there's a 11 minute featurette. That's just Tom Savini talking shit about the Ripper. That's the whole featurette. It's Michael Felcher's the one doing it because you can hear him talking in the background. And like he's asking him questions about it. And Tom Savini's just like tearing that movie to pieces, which he should, by the way. God, that movie's awful.
I've heard about the Ripper. I've heard it's really, really bad. Like cheap, very cheap looking, I've heard.
Well, to give you an idea, the beginning of the movie is supposed to be like, whatever 19th century London or whatever. And um they're in like a horse and carriage and you see all the he's like it's clearly like a downtown city that they've just blocked off at night or whatever, and you see all these like lights that are like attached to these buildings, and it's like, I don't think that's how that went. That's the beginning of the movie. That's before any of the like really boring, horrible shit starts, really. But when I saw that, I knew I was in trouble. Uh, Don Pless says if either of you don't have Wild Beasts, buy it. Okay.
Huh?
MVD has killer sales of Synapse titles. Let's see here. What's going to come first? Our Vinegar Syndrome orders from last week or Severin's orders? Um, Good question. I would say Vinegar Syndrome because Severin put on their site that they don't expect to ship a lot of this stuff for like 6 to 8 weeks. And I would say this sale has been bigger than any sale they've ever had.
So with Severin, the previous delay was the Kathy's curse thing. So was
Yeah.
that more of a delay than usual, or
Oh yeah.
because I've also heard that even without that Severin, is there usually still like a delay when you get a
Yeah.
package?
Severin's really bad a lot of times on shipping. In that particular case, so I think originally that was supposed to come out in April, I think. And then it got pushed back to the first part of May. Then it got pushed back to the middle or the end of May, whenever it actually came out. And yeah, so what it all boiled down to, they said it was stuck in customs or something like that. But what it boiled down to, in my opinion, is they probably got those in and realized that they didn't work and were like trying to figure out what the fuck to do and just kind of held everything up.
Please tell me you bought what was that movie called? Hey, Stop Stabbing Me.
No, I didn't. I wanted to. Somehow I kept myself from doing that though. It's such a great title though, man. Let's see. Don got Opera, Deep Cuts, Texas Gladiators, 4K, Mad Bomber, Theater Bazaar, Next to Kin, Mardi Gras Massacre, Christina, Simple Dwarf, Born to Fight, Cop Game, Double Target, Shadow Mine, and more. He got all the really good ones. Like the Bruno Mattei stuff's in there. Yeah. Nice job. Yeah, I'm gonna get a piss bucket from with Severin logo on it.
I
Buddy,
mean, I
Jerry,
already have this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Jerry's got to settle down. 26 titles yesterday and 19 more in his car.
Damn. What
Anyway.
all you did, Jerry?
Yeah, put a list together, Jerry. I'm curious. You're gonna have to check your email. There's no way you're gonna memorize all that.
He grabbed Hey, Stop Stabbing Me. There you go. I don't say I already have the film, but I did enjoy the Raiders of Atlantis, which is one of the 750. Ruggero Deodato. That's a fun. The trailer gives the whole movie away, but it's a fun, balls out, weird action movie. But it's Heart's on the right place. It's at least very entertaining. Raiders of Atlantis. I would definitely, if you like crazy action films, that's definitely one of them. And then you showed a Robo War.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I've been trying to turn people on to Robo War.
Yeah, Red Brown streaming his head off while this $10 RoboCop's chasing him through the jungle in a complete ripoff of Predator. And anytime it shows up, the robot's like beep 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 beep.
That noise that it makes, you'll never forget that either. So okay, let's go one more time over the box sets, and I'm going to shut this off, and we're going to discuss Scream Factory's fucking nonsense. So they got one more time. All the Haunts Be Ours is 125. Cushing Curiosity 67. Tony Danza Macabre Volume 1 and 2 are 49.67. House Psychotic Women's 52. Nasty Habits is 45. Still makes me angry. The Complete Lindsay Baker, and at the bottom here you got Violent Streets with Lindsay and Thomas Milliam. Tomas, I can't remember if it's Tomas or Thomas. The Eurocrypt Christopher Lee. This bunch of horseshit with Jake Gyllenhaal. The Central World of Black Emanuel and Birdemic. So there you go. Now, all right. I just want to go and look up what Scream Factory has released
in the
past 6 months, just in this past year.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Because people are like defending them on these streams a lot. And I'm just like, I just don't believe.
Are they really?
Yeah, they really are. There's some people that are absolutely like, no matter what Scream Factory does, it doesn't matter.
What are their reasons that they give?
They don't have reason. It's just okay. Here's some titles. You ready?
I'm ready.
So they have released the Amityville Horror remake in 4K, Phantoms in 4K, the Clove Hitch Killer, whatever the fuck that is, the RoboCop remake in 4K, Darkness with Anna Paquin is just a Blu-ray. Species 2 in 4K. There's a bunch of stuff I'm leaving out that is just stuff I've never even heard of, but the stuff that I know. Let's see here.
Island of Dr. Moreau,
Island Dr. Moreau.
Lost in Space.
Orphan. The Blu-ray. Chucky 4
The
through
Carrie
7.
the Carrie remake.
The Carrie remake. Yep. Oh my god. Dracula 2000. Stephen King's The Shining. The miniseries. The no, wait, that one's older. I almost said the Ring Collection, but I think that's all. Is that this year they released that or last year? That Ring Collection box set.
Let me see. Does it say click on it?
It had to be around the first part of the year if it was this year.
Just says shipped by March 19th. So maybe that was earlier this year.
Let's see. There's much more though. Hold on. Gretel and Hansel in 4K, nonetheless. The Strangers in 4K, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Jesus. Fucking Abraxas. Abraxas did not deserve a fucking VHS tape, let alone a fucking Blu-ray. Jesus. That's a horrible movie, Abraxas.
I wonder if there's a way. Let's see, because I'm just going through their shit. Look, if there's a way to filter this by like release date. Let's see. No. Let's try this. Best match, alphabetical, price, newest arrivals. Okay. Now, I'll give him this. The Stepfather 4K. I don't own the Stepfather on anything but DVD, so that's actually going to be pretty decent for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. At least there's that.
I don't even know what some of this shit is, though. Like, have you ever heard of...
Like, which ones?
Oh, let me see here. This can't be newest arrivals because it's got fucking Night of the Demons. Leave it to the Screen Factory's fucking website to not like accurately. Okay, here we go. So all that stuff that I mentioned earlier, and then they got Village of the Damned, the Carpenter one coming out on 4K. They've got Doomsday, that Neil Marshall film coming out on 4K. Succubus, I'll Take You Dead, Feral, Space Truckers. I got no idea.
I mean, I know Space Truckers. That's rest in peace to Stuart Gordon. He did that movie. The other ones, not really. I don't see people really buying those.
Do you know Fear City? That's another one they reissued that one because I know that was out before.
Yeah, that's one I have heard of. That's an 80s one. Tom Berenger. I think Billy D. Williams is in it. Yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Now, here's one that I think you and me can agree on. Dark Angels in 4K. Now, do I need the 4K of Dark Angel? No. The Blu-ray that I have, I'm pretty sure will be fine. RoboCop 2.
That I'll probably pick up Dark Angels, only because it's a personal favorite of mine. It's literally my top 10 favorite films of just entertainment. But that's like the exception to the rule for me.
It
Like I
is.
said, sorry to cut you off, but just to go on a rant, I don't need no goddamn Amityville horror to see Ryan Reynolds shirtless, going crazy, and barely acting. Because he couldn't act in that movie out of a paper bag in a snowstorm. Yeah, I don't need The Strangers 4K. It's just people in a house being bored until they die. They ain't no 4K crisping up any image of that.
That's a great review of that movie. People being bored till they die in a house. That's basically what it
Doomsday,
is.
just watch Escape from New York if you want to see Doomsday the right way. It's like Neil Marshall can't do Escape from New York. He wanted to remake it. He just did Doomsday.
That's exactly what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Phantoms, I can have fun with it in a dumb, goofy way. It don't deserve a 4K. Darkness sucked. I like World Cop 2, don't need a 4K of it. Species 2 was shit.
It's
World
got a
Cop
4K
remake
though.
is 4K of shit. World Cop remake didn't deserve to exist.
Hey Rambo, what about the Crow Salvation? They put that out too.
That's a franchise that never needed to be a franchise.
And then
And
they've
then
got
they're
a
doing that.
movie. They got a
Yeah.
movie called Venomous, and the main star is Treat Williams. I'm like, is that what you want to hang your movie on? Is Treat Williams? I don't know. Uh,
I love Tree Williams. That ain't a movie. That's not high on his list.
yeah,
I think even Tree Williams, may rest in peace, would say that. At least get the goddamn substitute sequels. Even that would be better.
yeah,
I'd actually give more time to substitute sequels. I love the titles. Failures not an option.
yeah.
Winner takes all. And Deep
So
Rising being my favorite. That was Tino Lorber.
that was it. Rent-a-Pal is one they released. I've never heard of that. And then they did Killer Clowns. That might be one of the exceptions too. And then, like I said, you got Dracula 2000, Orphan, The Island of Dr. Moreau, Gretel and Hansel 4K. There's a Dolph Lundgren movie on here in Blu-ray called Jill Rips.
Yeah, that's not that good. It's directed by Anthony Hickox, who did Waxwork 1 and 2. It's pretty much, if anyone's seen the Clint Eastwood film Tightrope, it's like a much lesser version of that. Someone going undercover and going to S&M. So if you want to see Dolph Lundgren involved with an S&M killer,
I kind of do. I like to see that. So listen to this lineup because these movies are all released around the same time, and I've talked about some of them, but it's just funny to hear them all in order as they were released. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Lost in Space Collector's Edition, Carrie remake in 4K, Child's Play remake in 4K, Stephen King's The Shining Blu-ray. Then they did the Darkman 4K, which I mean that's okay or whatever. They did a million versions of that fucking movie. Then you've got Into the Abyss, which I've never heard of. The Thinner Collector's Edition, the Ring Collection, the Blob 4K, the Pumpkinhead 4. They just turned everything into 4Ks. Like every Blu-ray title they had, they put a 4K of it out. How is this good though? That's my question to you. Like, how do you defend that slate of fucking movies? So of all those movies that they've released in like the last 6 or 7 months, I could probably name 3 of them that I would have any interest in whatsoever. And one of them that I bought out of all those. And that was the Killer Clowns one. So I don't know, man.
I'm trying to sincerely think about every movie has a fan of some sort, I guess. Maybe that's what they're counting on. I mean, that slate of movies that you listed is a lot of, in my opinion, horrendous stuff. 90% of that at least.
Yep.
But there are people, and you know this, you guys have talked about this, that buy every movie to show it on a camera. And then there are people that they have a collection and they feel it's not complete unless they get this, this, and this. I have to think there's a part of them that know that. I, they can't
I
be completely blind to that fact.
I mean, I feel like if you're buying the Carrie remake in 4K, you gotta know that's a mistake, right? I mean, you gotta be like, or like, some of those like Dracula 2000, like,
Uh-oh. Is Uncle Bill gone and I'm here? Can you guys see me? Oh no, I'm alone. What the fuck? Carrie got Uncle Bill. Okay, are people seeing me or am I is my phone screwing up? Okay. So Carrie fucked him up. He got so pissed at Street Factory. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm gone. I'll try to message him to see what's going on. Hopefully his internet didn't screw up. Just hang in there, everyone. But apparently Stream Factory was such dog shit that it blew a migraine in his brain. And his brain said, fuck it, I need to go. Maybe that's the thing. He needed to take a break from Screen Factory, and he's doing like a couple laps around the house. You know how like that show Hot Ones with the hot wings, and people just gotta take a lap around. Maybe that's what he's gotta do. He's gotta take a lap around his home until he gets back. Um, I'm gonna leave a message here. Hey, is everything okay? Obviously not, but just something to type. So I'll lay down the floor for a little bit. Hopefully, he'll come back soon.
fucking Screen
There
Factory
you go.
zap my fucking computer there. Like, teach this son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it one of those? Your internet's provider, they just surge up.
I've never really seen it do that before. Like a couple of times, like I'll be doing these shows and stuff, and like where I'll be sharing stuff on multiple screens. Sometimes I'll accidentally hit the back button on the screen that I'm on rather than the one that I'm like, screen sharing, and it'll throw me out there. But this time it just froze up and just said, oops, something went wrong, and like the internet had gone out, but the internet hadn't gone out. So I really think that Screen
Okay.
Factory probably just hacked my internet. It was like, we're going to take this motherfucker out. But that
That's
being
the only way they could win and survive.
that being the case, they still suck. It didn't really like. Yeah. So anyway, those titles, I don't know. So I kind of feel the same way about Vinegar Syndrome though this year. Um,
Yeah.
I there's not a whole lot I bought from Vinegar Syndrome. I did buy Crazy Fat Ethel and just watched that one recently. And that's an okay transfer, but like it's one of those ones where at the beginning of the thing, they're like, hey, you know, the prints of these were basically stored in a garbage bag for 30 years. And like when we got them, there's like nothing we could really do to make it that great. So just, this is the best version of this film, but it's not very good.
Gotcha.
And it's okay. Like it's so I'm curious. I wish I could do a poll on this fucking thing, but you can't. Like, which one do you all think has had a worse year? Scream Factory or Vinegar Syndrome? I guarantee
I
that's
would have
true.
to say Scream Factory because like those titles you mentioned, I can't think of. I mean, like I said, there are films in that I like, but I have them on Blu-ray. I don't need every single movie on 4K. I'm not that guy. Vinegar Syndrome, at least a lot of this sucks, but at least it's a little bit more unique titles, so it keeps you guessing a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, thing about Vinegar Syndrome to me is they'll release stuff that's like Crazy Fat Ethel, but then they'll release like Invasion USA in the same. You know what I mean? So it's like you've got like a variety of different stuff that you could, and they're actually decent movies too. I don't know if any of those movies that I just named I would consider to be decent. I don't know if any of those movies I like as much as Invasion USA that Scream Factory put out. I don't know if I could say that, and that's just 1 month. But I would go with Scream Factory. So let's see what we got here in terms of people. So Vinegar Syndrome, Vinegar Syndrome, Scream, 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 Vinegar Syndrome.
Scream until you like it.
So it's basically Scream Factory. But Vinegar Syndrome, somebody said Scream Factory, but Vinegar Syndrome's having their worst year. So I kind of agree with that as well. I mean, they haven't been doing a very great job either. That's what I mean, though. Some people really hate Vinegar Syndrome. They just don't like. Yeah, and I think that stems from like, um, I think you have to reach a certain part of your life where you can really enjoy like some of the movies that Vinegar Syndrome releases. Like those movies are just not going to be people. Like a lot of people aren't going to like them, no matter what. Like it's a lot of trauma stuff, a lot of kind of Italian, Asian, crazy like stuff mixed in there. It's just not gonna. Whereas Scream Factory, they
what do you?
only release mainstream stuff, but it's like shitty mainstream stuff, but it's still like stuff that was in theaters, and the majority of the time
I was
people
going to
don't.
ask with Vinegar Syndrome, is it you think? Do they just find movies that they're able to get their hands on? Of course, with the money they have, the rights they could be able to just have constant content because they know there are people that buy bundles, and as long as there's something that either they haven't heard of before that seems unique, whether that's good or bad, it's just releasing content and not so much caring about the quality. And it's like we're running out of ideas to what we could actually get because either we can't find the print or the person wants too much money. So it's like, well, that film, they cost about $13 together because no one like what was the I can't remember the last five Vinegar Syndrome films. They're probably films no one's ever heard of. Yeah, just release them and then people will buy them because it's part of the set. It's part of the collector mentality. Um, I
Well,
don't even know what question I was asking, but it's just Vendor Center just releasing a lot of content that I don't really see any quality to it, at least for me.
no. Well, the thing about Vinegar Syndrome is that they came up with a whole new, to me, a whole new algorithm that kind of worked for a long time, which was pick up these movies that are cheap, a lot of times not great genre films that not a lot of people have heard of, and you got this, collection of people who want to see anything that was made in certain genres at certain time periods, and you could get those cheap. You could get the rights to them cheap. You could put them out cheap, and you could, put them in these collector's editions, jack up the prices, and make money. So for a long time, that really worked because like a lot of these titles, they weren't a lot of them weren't great, but they were good enough that like it kept people's interest and people that wanted to see like, movies like Spookies or movies like Blood Games and stuff like that that just never really had great releases, but had like a bit of a cult following and like enough to kind of get their name out there. And they just did that, and collectors finally got on board, and they were the first ones that I knew of that did the slip cover thing to the point where people would just buy the slip cases and shit, and like that became a selling point itself. And so they did all that stuff, and they remastered movies that people never thought would ever even like get a fucking DVD release, and they're coming out in 4K, because they're so considered so bad. Which was great, and then they started eventually, and I'm not sure how I feel about this still to this day. Eventually, they just started putting out, like, mainstream stuff like Roadhouse and Showgirls, and, like, I don't know why exactly. I guess, like, I mean, all that stuff apparently sold well, but I'm not sure why they decided to take that road.
Hey, Vanderhoff, you're over there. Shut up.
Yeah. You gotta excuse
That's I'll
me.
type on my dick. Should be glad I'm not typing on my dick. There you go. Put
Vanderhoff
that on fucking
loves
star search.
he's one of the many Dead Pit members
Yeah.
that, over the years that love to, like, bitch about everything.
With Vendor syndrome, do you think is it sooner or later that they'll hit the iceberg then? Or do you think they just continue forever with the core group they have that will just buy whatever titles come out, whatever bundles?
I think that they can right now they can sustain on just goodwill, and they've got like a completely crazy fan base that will not like hear anybody talking shit about them. That will buy anything that comes out that are scheduled or subscribe to the bundles and everything like that are scheduled to come out every month. So I think they can survive on that. I like for probably a while, but I think eventually people will they'll kind of fade away, sadly. Um, Especially if they keep doing what they've been
So
doing last year.
so Venator has Wild Defenders too, like
Oh
Scream
yeah,
Factory.
they've got
That
like
just
one of the worst, most toxic Facebook pages of fans.
really.
Yeah, for movies that's out there. Really,
I haven't seen their Facebook. Did you just from personal experience, or you know people that dealt with them, or you just see them off the fly?
there's been a couple of shows that we've done, and Wes will bring up the group like as we're doing the shows, and there'll just be all these people that'll be talking shit about us and defending like the titles and stuff.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's great in a way.
So they're watching your show and they're
Yes.
just typing on the keyboard. They fucking said this fucking
Yes.
cocksucker.
That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Then why are they watching your fucking stream? Just buy the shit, stick it up your ass, and put a rose on it. Then
Because they are invested in that's really what it is. They're invested in Vinegar Syndrome. Like it's they consider it like their label. And they're also the same type of people that when anything comes out, no matter what it is, they're like from Vinegar Syndrome, they're like, oh, I've been waiting for this to come out for 20 years, no matter what the fuck it is. It could be something that they've never heard of, and they're gonna say it's the greatest thing ever.
okay.
This is a good question. What label do I think or we think will last the longest?
Of those labels nowadays, which was the earliest? Was Arrow's before Stream Factory, right?
That's a good question. I think so. I think yeah, definitely Arrow. Arrow was because I had Arrow stuff that was in those like what do you call them? Like the window cases that you could put like it had a slip case, but it was just like a blank window that you put the title down in and you could see it through the
Oh yeah.
slip. And I'm thinking I had those like way before Screen Factory was even a thought. So, and then I would assume Screen Factory was next. And I don't know when Severin really came along. And Vinegar Syndrome's really not been around that long. Actually Severin might surprise us because it seems like we got some of their DVDs and shit in terms of how long they've been around.
Hmm.
Because I think we got DVDs of theirs back when we were doing the fucking show. Now that I think about it.
Oh, okay, that's right.
From
Yeah,
it says, don't fuck with the Vinegar Syndrome Facebook group. Yeah.
I would say don't fuck with any Facebook groups. I know you're in the chat, Mike. OCB Communications, that VHS group. I told the story where they love VHS so much that if you're against them, that's like here's some dick-shaped pancakes. For
What?
some reason, that was an insult. Uh, Mike had told the whole story to me. It was like they're so hardcore VHS. Like if you like snooty snobs, and I don't know. I can't use the word, but it starts with a re and it ends with a tard. And they're just stupid, fucking dumbass people. But it's the internet. Big surprise.
Yeah. It's not shocking to know there's a bunch of jackasses on the internet.
Who love the dicks in their mouth.
I don't think Severin's in trouble, if anything. I think that they're in the least trouble they've been in a couple of years.
Yeah, I think sooner or later you just have to. A lot of those titles probably been around for quite a few years. You just have to get rid of them just to make room for other stuff in a way. I mean, I know it's all online material, but at the same time, it's like you can't have them sitting around for a decade and just collect dust. It's like, well, we'll get rid of them, and there's a good way to do it.
Yeah. I think that they got to a point where they probably wanted to do that, and they probably also realized that they were building some momentum and wanted to do something with this sale to kind of like solidify that too. OCP says some days I honestly miss Anchor. I miss Anchor Bay all the time. Like the old Anchor Bay is what he's talking about before it was stars and all that. Yeah. Do you like Synapse?
Yeah, I bought some of their titles. I loved Red Scorpion. Sally, that didn't sell well, but I had that. Mosquito, that's a film I grew up with, and that was a great release. Bells and Whistles, great cover. Mosquito. Yeah, I like Synapse. They do wonderful work. They may take a while, but you get your money's worth. And uh, they're not as prolific because they take a lot of time and they want to make sure everything's right. So they're not as prolific as Vinegar Syndrome, but that's quality over quantity.
They're literally two
Synapse.
people too. I mean, there's just two people
Yeah,
that work there. I always thought that was
yeah,
amazing. I mean, that two guys basically do that whole fucking thing. Yeah, I could never say anything bad about Synapse because number one, like I think that like the vast majority of their titles are some of the most well made stuff out there, and they never have quality control issues. They never have anything like that where they have to have like replacement discs and stuff. I think maybe I don't know if they had if they did, it was not on a disc that I bought, and I've bought almost every horror disc that they've released, so it had to be something else. Um, yeah, and I think that Don May's like one of the coolest guys that owns a company like that or co-owns it.
I'm assuming they have other jobs, and then this is sort of in the backdrop
I don't
to
know.
do.
I honestly don't, I mean, I would gotta think so because like they don't release stuff, sometimes for a year at a time, but
Yeah.
who knows? Justin, you please do that. Please do that for me. Yeah, this is a good point. All these exploitation horror titles that they're selling now used to be bootlegs on VHS back in the day, back in the 90s. They were called duplication services, so we're very blessed with physical media nowadays.
I had a good chunk of those duplicative services,
Mhm.
especially with 2 VCRs. Back in the old Fody days when we had to put 3 movies on a tape and
Oh, I
hopefully it
remember
didn't cut off the 3rd one.
that's how I used to watch everything when I was a kid. Like, it was on those what were they, like, SP and EP VHS tapes that were like you could put 3
Yeah.
But see, the cool thing about that was when you're a kid is that normally that was like my dad's shit that he had record and there was a theme to it. So one tape would be like action films, the other one would be horror films, sci-fi. He would just record like 3 of like the same type of movie. And so you got to see, I mean, like that's how I got to see like one of them I remember had Eddie Murphy films on it. So it was like 48 Hours, The Golden Child, and Trading Places. And like those were all recorded on the same tape. So like I got to see those and that was awesome. And then like another one was Basket Case, Zombie, and something else. It may have been Dawn of the Dead. It was something like that. Like, and so that was always cool.
And you had to do the Scotch tape method where you had to put it over the
Yep.
rental copy or whatever so that it would actually
Yep.
record on the other one.
Many a time I saw that white surgical tape like put over the those fucking things.
Did you ever use the VHS cleaning? Like, did that ever
Yeah.
work for you? Like, if
I not
okay,
really, no. I'm not sure if those ever really worked. Maybe they did. I just didn't know how to use them that well. But I did have one of those tapes, the cleaning tapes with the solution that you put in it and
yeah,
all that. Then you like put it in there. I could never tell it did anything.
yeah, I never knew how much to put, so it felt like I was just overloading it. So I was always thinking like when I put it in, it would just the liquid would just get all over the inside and
Yeah.
electrocute the whole damn VCR. I got the it's like I'm getting the thing drunk and I won't get the VCR a hangover.
I even had one of those tape rewinders. Like you remember those fucking things? Yeah,
Yeah.
like all they did was rewind VHS tape. So
Yeah, and if you did a wanty one, it would sound like a chainsaw.
yeah,
So you think it was gonna like fly off and hit you in the face.
eventually they all broke too, pretty quick, because that's like a lot of wear of just like doing the same thing over and over again. Um, I was gonna say though, like somebody brought up the new Anchor Bay, and Slippy was talking about them on that show that we did with Slippy, where he was basically saying their goal is not to release older stuff, like older film. They're gonna be an actual like film company. And my first thought when he said that was that Stars shit. Remember when Stars like tried to be like that and they started releasing their own shit and stuff, and it was like the god awfulest stuff. So I just hope it doesn't turn out like that.
Maybe they'll get Mutilator too.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
No, it wouldn't. It looked like
That'd be great.
a bottle of piss
That fucking
left
trailer.
on the.
That's one of the worst trailers I've ever seen, by the way.
I'm sorry, Piz, if you ever see this. I love you, man, but that movie was so fucking awful. And I don't mind the mutilator. I like it. That sequel looked like it cost $8 and shot on Shitio.
It did. Vinegar Syndrome needs to step up their sale game after Severin scans this weekend. I haven't gotten a haul like this weekend in 2.5 years. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about too. Like I wondered if Severin didn't do this too, just because Vinegar Syndrome just had their sale and everybody was like shitting on it. And maybe they saw this as an opportunity to kind of like just blow them out of the fucking water. They're already kind of down. People are already like, this sale this year was bullshit from Vinegar. And I thought that too. I thought that sale was just awful from Vinegar Syndrome. Uh, and Severin, maybe one of those guys saw it as an opportunity to just be like, we're gonna like put on a sale that will absolutely like kick the shit out of them. I don't know. Love that company. Probably the best in terms of just releasing, in terms of like the way they look and the packaging and the time that's spent on them. Yeah, insanely good.
Agreed. The Hitcher looks good. I
Yeah.
saw the pictures. I don't mind the cover. I know some people don't like the cover of it. I don't mind it. I don't mind the look of the cover. I thought it fits for the kind of film it is, and yeah, I look forward to it. And yeah, The Sacrament, which you
Yep.
did a review of, I liked that film as well,
Yep.
and that was a good one.
Have not seen Maxine yet. I just that movie kinda came and went, and nobody really said anything great about it. I mean, it just kinda got, like, a
Hmm.
lukewarm response, so I just didn't, like, kill myself to get out and see it for some reason.
I didn't even know it was out.
Yeah, it came out this past week, I think, past weekend.
Hmm. Okay.
Carter says his grandpa ripped Predator and Predator 2 on a VHS tape for me back in the '90s. Yeah, wish I still had that tape. Yep, this was a big thing back then, having 2 VCRs that you could do that with.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we did back in the day because we only had like 4 channels, and for some reason, 2 of them were the same channel, CBS. So it's like,
Jeez. Uh, Business of Fear says, "I used those cleaners back in the day. That liquid evaporated so quickly, so no damage was done if you put too much." Well, that makes sense. Blue Underground is still around, and every now and then they release like a 4K. They don't release anything new ever, and they haven't for years now that I know of. They just release like 4Ks of stuff that they already have license for. Uh, that's a cool idea. I would accidentally leave the VCR recording USA up all night, hoping to get raunchy shit at 1 a.m. Justin, I tried to get Mark to come on here, but Mark is a busy man. He's hauling some product.
yeah, he's too busy cooking for Walter White.
Mm. I don't own enough stuff from Umbrella to really have an opinion on them. I just don't. I just don't know. Although see, I get all these companies mixed up in my head. Is Umbrella the one that recently released Absurd and Anthropophagus? Or was that another? I don't even know at this point which company did that. I thought it might have been Umbrella, but it could have been Eureka. It could have been fucking 88 Films. It could have been. There's like 1,000 of those labels now overseas.
I would say I like someone says 88 films. I like Umbrella. Uh, yeah, I mean, like a lot of labels. It's not all winners, but I think I first found them because they did these. I love movie trailer compilations, and they did this series called Drive-In Delirium,
Yeah,
and so there's about 5 or 6 of them, and they had like Chuck Norris movies and all sorts of stuff. So that's how I first found them, and then I've liked some of the releases. They had one of Razorback before Stream Factory. They had one called The Tunnel, which I enjoyed. The Intruder one looks interesting because I know that has the work print, and I think the work print was only a limited thing when Intruder was first released. So the one I got, I didn't get the one that had the work print, and I'm always curious about that stuff.
yeah,
But I mean, it's definitely they're much more now about like having these gigantic books, magazines, like all sorts of like it's all these like big bundles now. And yes, I did order that Super Mario Brothers one, and that's on the way. I'll show
yeah.
that when
Well,
it comes.
even I'm kind of starting to get tired of these fucking bundles. And after the Hitcher and Trick or Treat, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more of them because that's the only way that you can get those, even though they are releasing standard editions of both those now that I think about it. But it's like you
Yeah.
get these bundles and they're nice, the box is nice or whatever, but then it's got like a book in it. I'm never going to read that book. And then it's got like lobby cards in it. What the fuck am I going to do with those? I have no idea. And then if you get some of these companies like Screen Factory, you got enamel pins and fucking balloons, or I don't even know whatever keychains, whatever comes with that shit. It's like shit you'd get out of a, if you go to like Showbiz Pizza or like what's another Chuck E. Cheese. It's like shit you would like cash in your tickets to get. You know, there's the stuff that comes in these box sets now.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't get them for everything because they'd be too expensive, and just you wouldn't have any room either. I mean, if you don't have room right now, you get more and more of these bundles. That's even less and less room.
Yeah,
You're gonna be ready to be crushed by
it's like
releases.
everything now is a limited edition special bundle with fucking 20 things jammed into it. It's like I don't know if I care.
So I'm curious with you, since you buy a lot of stuff. You asked, I think you asked Slippy this, so I'll ask you this: films that have never gone to Blu-ray, let alone 4K, that you would like to see released.
The number one um, that doesn't have a Blu-ray that I won't release is Fright Night 2.
Yeah.
And people keep saying they're going to release it, these overseas companies, and they're not. They never do. I don't know. There's some, like he was saying, there's some rights issue or something. They just can't ever fucking do it. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot left that hasn't either been released or had some sort of release. Let's see. There's some good ones though, actually, now that I think about it, that um
Hmm.
that haven't been released. Do you remember a movie called Hunter's Blood? It was kind of
I
a
do.
deliverance style fucking movie. Kind of like
I think Southern Comfort Deliverance type of thing. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. That's one that I don't think has a release.
No, I heard a rumor that someone was doing it, but maybe that was just a rumor.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was though. I do remember that film.
It's a great film. But yeah, The Beyond. I mean, in terms of ones that need a 4K, they're
Mm.
not necessarily that don't have a release, but The Beyond is probably the one that I'm most confused as to why that doesn't have a 4K release, because it could benefit the most from a 4K release of pretty much any movie I can think of. Let's see.
I'm still going to keep complaining about I need my murder by phone. I
Yeah.
need, come on, man. Like, we got Ryan Reynolds shirtless in 4K. Like, come on now. Like, we do better than that. We do better than RoboCop remake in 4K. Come on now.
How much is that Mario set going for? The Boba Fett's asking.
I would have to double check. It depends what you want. There's the movie itself, and then there's the full set. And I paid with shipping uh, way too much, but I splurged. With shipping, it was 137, which is a lot, but that's because I rarely get stuff. It was 3 disc, a 4K and 2 Blu-rays, book, posters, art cards, book that was like 200 pages, a magazine, like all the other stuff. So it was $100, which is a lot. It is a lot, but I'm like,
I
fuck
mean,
it.
yeah, like you said, I mean, you buy what you want to watch. Like, that's the thing.
Well, not
It's
everybody does that.
That's very true. That is very true. That's a whole other thing to get
You got
into, but like,
you betcha before how it's like, yeah, I got this. I'll never watch it, but here it is, and here's this. I
yep.
don't know what this is, and I'm going to mispronounce who stars in it and who directed it, and
I've
but
literally
I have it here.
I've seen multiple different accounts where people will have a film and they'll be reviewing it and it's never been opened. And it's like, how the fuck are you reviewing it? Like, and it's just bullshit, man. Because what a lot of people will do nowadays, like a lot of people are sent. It really a lot of it has to do with like your channel subscribers. So the more channel subscribers you have, the more shit that you get sent, and they don't really give a fuck if you review it that well or not. They just want you to show it. A lot of times, show what's inside of it and things like that. And some of these people take advantage of that because they're reselling this shit. Like, I know they are, because they no other reason to keep it like in packaging than just to like so you can turn back around and resell it. Like, and then you can make up some bullshit review or something. Like, they're not ever watching any of this stuff. There's a whole like ton of channels that do stuff like that. Their whole thing, their whole gimmick is just showing off physical media. Uh, yeah. John Public says, I did Hitcher, so I get 1 second sight premium set, but I can't do everything like that. I have their standard or maybe mid grade Dawn set, but otherwise I'm fine with standards. Yeah, I 100% think though they will. I know they will, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Inferno needs a 4K. The beginning and ending of that movie would look insane in 4K. Okay, so while I'm going through some of these questions, though, I just want to say, Rambo, we're an hour and 30 minutes into this stream now, and I told you this before we got on and everything. But I'm glad that you're live. I was really worried that you would not be. I was worried that something was going to
Thank you.
happen. Uh, but yeah, you went through the hurricane, and I don't know what exactly happened with that, but you're still in the same place you were at. So it looks like that it turned out okay. I'm hoping.
Yeah, so Hurricane Barrel. By the way, I want to give a big fuck you to every weatherman, weather woman, no man, all man, whatever the hell your idea is. They don't know what the hell they're talking about because it's like it's going to go into Texas, it's going to go into Mexico, then it's going to go to the west, and like every day it went like it was like it went like this like a ticking clock every day. It kept changing, so it shows how great their knowledge was. So I would say it was probably right east to us, but we're right in its path, right in the middle. Uh, I'm in southeast Texas. I'm if if you're on a map and you see southeast Texas, you see a town called Bay City. I'm south of that. I'm probably 20 miles or less from the ocean.
Wow.
So I ripped through. Thankfully, my sister and her loved one were nearby. Great, they have a brick place. Settled there. It was scary because you could hear it, and if you understand, it was like 80 mile per hour gust winds. So then what happened was lost power for a couple of days. Uh, even lost cell phone. I mean, uh, someone had one of those wireless things, so I could go on the internet for a little bit with a little bit of power. To find out that people even lost signals to their phone. They couldn't even call 911 if they could, like if they needed to. Like that's how much it wrecked stuff. Like even on phones, the signal was gone. Now, thankfully, we didn't have to do that, but other people they couldn't call 911, so
Jesus.
you had to wait hours and hours for that. Now, thankfully, because I couldn't sleep that night, and the phone was working, so I'm like all the time looking at the phone. We were in the eye of it. You know how it's like calm.
Yeah.
So you hear all this rumbling, and then for like 2 hours, there's like dead silence. I'm looking on it, and you see the thing, and we're like, we're right there. I'm like, right here in the middle. And I'm like, did it stay like this forever? And then it went back up. And to be fair and to be honest, this place didn't get much. I don't know how. I don't know how, but it's just other than broken branches, loss of power. That was the least. Sadly, I mean, there's a lot of people coming from Louisiana, other states that come in, and you just see constant trucks of people, thanks to them, to get the power back, internet back, all that stuff. But like, I would see the news later, and it ripped right through Houston,
Yeah.
and it just like I was telling you before we started. I think at this point there's still 500,000 people in Houston without power, and more than likely not even by next week. And I know CenterPoint Energy is their power company, and they're getting a lot of hell for it that they weren't prepared. There are places that are flooded. I know before they had like a dam that was shaky. I don't know what happened with that dam. Hopefully, it didn't do anything. You mentioned Jay Real, like he had to go to.
Yeah.
He's like, I think north of Houston. He had to go to a hotel.
Yeah. He stayed in a hotel for at least a couple of days, I think. He lives in, and he's brought this up a million different times, so I don't think he would mind me saying, but he lives in a town called Mahia, Texas. Um, and it was apparently right in the path of that as well.
And yeah, it kept going and going. I mean, that's the thing is that it was a Category 1 hurricane. You know, they kept saying tropical storm, but then as soon as it hit the Category 1, but even as the tropical, like I think by the time it got to Houston, it might have been closer to tropical, but it still did a lot of damage. And it kept going in this curve all the way to like to New York to the point that New York had tornado warnings. It's not the first time they've had tornado warnings. So if you've seen all those sci-fi channels ones back to the day, bullshit. There ain't no tornadoes in New York. Apparently now it is. I
Yeah.
made the dumb joke like tomorrow there's going to be a volcano in the backyard and Tommy Lee Jones going to come in to save us. But you mentioned how maybe not at this point, but how the weather in Kentucky has changed in the past couple of years. You didn't get
Yeah.
tornado stuff, right?
Well, we got
Or
it.
not as much.
Yeah, we got it occasionally, and it was like, to give you an idea, I think since I've been alive, there's only been one tornado that's touched down in here, you know. Um, and that tornado destroyed an entire city. Like an entire fucking city. Um, but we never really had like summers or things like that where there was multiple tornado warnings, multiple like severe thunderstorm warnings, like just seemed like every 2 weeks there was some shit like that going on. And for the last couple of years, that's how it's been. It's been just like as it's gotten hotter here too. That's another thing I hate. Like the summers are progressively getting like hotter and fucking hotter and hotter. And they don't they last like summer seems to last longer too. So the weather is just in general getting hotter, it seems like. So with that comes, I think, more severe kind of weather. Because I don't think that's the natural flow of things. Like as the shit gets hotter, like these storms start to come in more. And it's just constant severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings and shit now. So
Yeah, it's going to be the day after tomorrow and your worst nightmare. Jake Gyllenhaal's trying to come save you.
shit. Now he spent all of his time in that fucking movie like a library. But anyway, I'm glad
Now,
that you're okay,
where?
and I'm glad that like
Thank you.
yeah, that the house is okay too.
Me too. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I was going to quickly ask: have there been in the past few years? Okay, there were warnings, but were there any that you felt were close calls to where you and CK are at that you could think of, or thankfully, no?
Um Not lately, no. I mean, we've had warnings and wind and stuff like that that was like really, really bad. But nothing I can think of to where like it did any real damage or anything. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. There's one now that you mention it. So a couple years back, there was this storm that came in and it produced this straight line wind and maybe like a mini tornado now that I think about it. That the wind was like 60 to 80 miles an hour. Uh Something like that. Maybe more in some places. But anyway, there was this set of apartment buildings that was right across from where my mother lived and or lives, and it took them all out. Every single one of them like collapsed. All there was like 3 of them together. And now when you drive by there, there's nothing. Like they just tore the rest of them down because like it had just destroyed the frames of them and everything. So that's the last thing I can think of like that. But yeah, I mean, the weather is really shit now. Here
To say
anyway.
the least, everywhere. Oh, it looks like a while ago you did get a super chat from Vanderhoff
Oh, hold on.
for $2.
I didn't even see that. It says love Dead Pit, always love giving you shit. Best channel on YouTube. Thank you, Vanderhoff.
That's cool as long as I can give it back.
Fucking shit. So a couple people asked, yeah, do I think people don't review the movies that they're getting? Yes, I know they don't in some cases.
Most definitely. And whether it's no, okay, I was going to say maybe they did like a digital screener thing, but no, they have the. I people don't. I don't get screeners. They don't either know I exist more than likely, or even if they did, be like, "Fuck this redneck asshole with the buck teeth, your Bugs Bunny teeth." Do people who did it, or do you get like a digital screener
Yeah.
and then get the physical,
No, a
or
lot
just
of times
one?
it'll be one or the other. Like, so the
Okay,
majority of companies nowadays will do one or two things, and it kind of, kind of hurts them, I think, more than they realize because they'll either send you, hold on, I may have one of them. I think I put them up. I had a whole bunch of them over here after that I had reviewed, but they're like, just like a crappy plastic case with like a screener copy of the movie, and that's it. So it's just like a DVD. It's like a Blu-ray R or whatever. You know what I mean? Of the movie. It's what it looks like. Or they'll send a digital like link that will go to like the movie. So I guess they got away more from like, given the actual physical media. Like back in the day, they just would send the DVDs or whatever. The actual DVD that they're going to sell in the store or stuff like that. But
you.
they don't really, as these box sets and shit have gotten bigger, I guess they can't afford to send people these huge ass like things now, so they just send whatever, which is very underwhelming, by the way. But in a lot of cases, I mean, I will say, even though like I'm not a huge fan of just getting like a disc in with no packaging whatsoever, uh, it has like turned me on to some movies that I would have never in a million fucking years seen. Like had it not been for those screeners, like I would have never even known they existed or bought them or anything like that. That have been really good. Some of them have.
What were some of the examples?
Uh, oddly enough, um, the Crippled Masters film was really, really good.
Okay.
I would have never in a million years thought that, but it was. A lot of the Asian stuff, like the Abashiri prison film that they sent, that was great. Um, God, what else? The Guyver. I'd never seen the Guyver, man,
Oh yeah.
and that actually got sent too, which I really enjoyed all those movies, to be honest.
Yeah, the Cripple Master. Yeah, they they want to make that movie today.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you like the Guyver, I would recommend Guyver 2 Dark Hero because it's lower budget, but it's more violent and it's R rated.
yeah. I want to see those movies now. I don't know if they made more than one. I think they did, didn't they? Like,
Just two.
yeah,
Guyver and
okay,
then Guyver 2 Dark Hero.
okay.
And I would say Guyver 2, the lead guy is a better actor and the effects aren't as good, but the violence is much bigger.
This is ridiculous. There's a guy on eBay selling a ton of screener copies from Arrow a few years back. I could see that. Um, if you already had a vid, but did you like Seagal and Machete?
Uh, when he stabbed himself, uh, that yet again it shows Steven Seagal's ego. He could not lose. He had to lose himself. It's like Danny Trejo couldn't beat him. Seagal's like, no, I'm going to stab myself because I can't lose to someone. I'm like, oh god, that's Steven Seagal for you though.
Oh
So
God.
not for me. Robert Rodriguez. There's other films I enjoyed more from Dust Till Dawn, The Faculty, uh, Desperado, among others. But Machete, Machete Kills, and then they didn't make that third one because it was so shitty. I know people liked them. The trailer was good. I didn't care for the movies. I don't. I think the trailer was all you needed, in my opinion.
I really didn't
I
like
forgot Mel
the
Gibson was in the second
one.
one.
Yeah, I didn't like the second one at all. I do remember that. Like,
Last CGI. Remember Tom Savini died by CGI in the second film, which is ironic.
I watched The Coffee Table for the first time last night. Have you seen it? But no, but I keep hearing about this fucking movie. And the beginning of this movie, something happens in the beginning that's supposed to be like crazy. I just have not had a chance to watch it.
And I haven't seen that. I haven't also seen people always talking about Long Legs.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are praising that one.
Will there be any on the road videos in the near future? Yeah, like the one that I can think of that I know we'll probably see if it comes around here will be Terrifier 3. That comes out in October. And I'm pretty sure we'll go see that one. I can't think of anything else that's coming out here soon other than Long Legs. Maxine's already been out. Did you know of anything like major horror releases or anything coming up? Is Beetlejuice? When the fuck is Beetlejuice coming out? Not necessarily horror, but that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious to do it on the road for that fucking movie.
That's a good question. With horror in general, I don't know what else is coming out this year for it, other than the ones you mentioned. I guess The Strangers Part 3 or whatever the 2 or whatever the hell it is, the sequel to the Strangers film that I don't know if anyone even saw.
Let's see.
I'm laughing because I'm like, you can watch Gladiator 2 when it comes out. No. That trailer came out.
No. No. I don't even have to watch the trailer. No, I'm not going to watch Gladiator 2.
I love, like, real quick with the trailer, I love what's appropriate for a Gladiator movie? Play a rap song to market the.
That's right. That's what you do.
Because when I think of the Roman, gladiators, you think of rap. That's what I think of, rap.
It's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Maybe because Denzel's in it, so they Denzel's in it, so put a rap song in it.
So I know that Russell Crowe is not the gladiator in this movie, right? Like, I haven't watched the trailer,
No.
but there's no way that guy's playing that role. So who is the dude in this one?
He was a little kid in the first Gladiator. I don't recognize the actor. He's a new guy. He wants revenge on Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington is like the lead guy's mentor. And apparently the film costs $300 million. And directed by Ridley Scott, which is going to bomb because I don't see how it would make that money back.
It definitely is, yeah.
And Ridley Scott has I didn't realize how many historical films he made that didn't do well. Kingdom of Heaven, Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
God, I forgot all about that movie.
Exodus, Gods and Teens, or whatever, with Christian Bale, Moses or whatever. Napoleon. And they keep The Last Duel, and they keep giving him money. And like all those ones that they bombed.
That movie cost $300 million.
Apparently, yeah.
I didn't even know they made movies that much anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
apparently it was 100. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it was apparently it's 165 million at first, that it ballooned up to over 300 million. So that was great.
I was going to ask you about this because I'm pretty sure everybody and their grandmother's seen this movie by now. And like I saw you did a video of it, and I feel like that it looked like it was a positive video, but like Axel F. Like, what were your thoughts about Axel F?
I know there are some people that got mad at me for it, but I liked it. I will admit I liked it. Not nearly as good as the first two. There's definitely some issues, but as a piece of fun escapism, I thought it was fun. I didn't have some issues with it, but I there were parts that I laughed at. I thought it definitely played nostalgic, but it was also the frame of mind I was in. Like the past 2 weeks, I had a mom that got attacked by Africanized killer bees. I had a hurricane on my ass. I just wanted to escape. I watched it and I had fun with it. Uh, it was some nice nods to part two with songs like Shakedown in it. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it. Eddie felt like he cared and he tried to be funny at least. Unlike part three, where he's like, I don't want to be funny.
Yeah.
Uh, it does have that Netflix streaming feel. So I think going to streaming was the right fit. But Eddie felt like it was way better than Coming to America 2. And it has some decent action set pieces, including one with a helicopter. It's not a classic. It's not as good as the first two. I thought it was pretty decent. It was a pretty decent, in my opinion, entertaining film, at least for me. And there's a daughter character I was kind of iffy on, a few other things, but overall, I had fun with it for what it was. I I, I liked it. And then people like, I'm sorry, if whether you hate the film or not, I've had people tell me part three is better. Fuck that shit. Fuck that movie, Beverly Hills Cop 3. That's a movie where a bunch of bad guys sing the Supremes and dance in the first 5 minutes. Just John Landis thought that was a good idea. And Eddie Murphy shoots a gun that sings Jerry Lewis music. And with
I've
that
never
weird Swiss art.
I've never seen Beverly Hills Cop 3. I don't know how I missed it.
So Bronson Pinchot, for some reason, shows up and he's promoting a gun that's a Swiss Army gun with a microwave and stuff in it, which Eddie Murphy uses at the end at the amusement park. And like it shoots at nets or starts accidentally playing Jerry Lewis music. And there's times he's being undercover because it's not Disneyland, but it's supposed to be like that. So he's in like an elephant mascot suit running around going after the bad guys. And Eddie like didn't want to be funny because that point he wanted to be Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Because he saw Passenger 57. So yeah.
I actually watched it because I had a day off and like I watched the next Netflix talk about Axel F. And I have to say, man, like here's what I'll say about it.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. Like I was kind of surprised because I expected it to be like Coming to America 2 bad. Like that's what I was expecting, and it's not that bad. As a matter of fact, I think Eddie Murphy is pretty good in it. Like he's the best part about the movie to me by a mile.
Me too.
And I didn't think he had that in him really. Like I didn't think he was going to try to come back and make anything. I didn't think he
Agreed.
could be comedic like that anymore, really. But he did a pretty good job. The only problem I had with it was the guy, I forget his name. I should know his name. The guy that plays Taggart. He's just too old.
John
Man.
Ashton.
Yeah, he's like 80 years old or something. And like he's in it quite a bit.
76, yeah.
Yeah, but he can't really he looks and acts old. I mean, he just, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah,
can't really do anything and he's just very emaciated kind of now. And I think they used him too much, even though he doesn't do a whole lot. Like he just,
mm,
they had him. And the other weird part about it is that, um, Judge Reinhold Rosewood is barely in it. Like he gets kidnapped at the beginning of the movie, and then
that's one of my issues. Yeah,
yeah, and then at the main end of the movie, he shows back up for like 5 minutes or something. I don't know why that was either, but
yeah,
other than that,
yeah. That's
yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
was fine. Like it was amazingly okay for something that was a fucking sequel to like I didn't expect that movie to be any good whatsoever.
I agree, and yeah, I Judge Reinhold. That's one of the issues I had. He should have been in it a lot more. John Ashton. It was. I think it was just nice for me to see him again. Uh, Maybe because I saw part three and it was Hector Elizondo, and I'm like, I like John Ashton, even at
Yeah.
76 years old, more than Hector Elizondo. Sorry, Hector. I know you won't see this, but still. But yeah, it was fun. But I definitely agree, needed much more Judge Reinhold. But yeah, thought it would
They
be a
didn't really
lot worse than it was.
same. They didn't really have a chance to use him with see, the whole thing that made that to me work in the first one, especially, was like the interactions between him and John Ashton. And they weren't
Yeah,
able to do that because like, he's gone for the whole movie and now like John Ashton is like what is he the chief, I think, or something or
he's the captain of the Beverly
captain.
Hills part.
So, like, I mean, they wouldn't interact that way anyway because they weren't partners or anything anymore. So there's really no way to do that now. But that was like what made that whole dynamic work and what made it work in the films too.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, like the thing that really surprised me was how good Eddie Murphy was because I really honestly did not think he had that kind of performance left in him.
Yeah, I would say that's the exact reason why overall I did like it because of that. And I did not think honestly I would laugh with Eddie Murphy after so long of not doing it. I mean, I can still think of okay. There's one scene where these two lady cops get him, and he's making fun of their car. And it's like, man, I'd rather do something than get in this
Yeah,
Fisher
I know what
Price
you're
looking
talking about.
motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah,
You guys are Lego cops. I don't want to be in this Fisher Price looking motherfucker. So I'm like, okay. I know I'm not trying to have like low standards or anything. I had it just it could have been a lot worse, and I thought it was fun. So there
yeah,
you go.
yeah. That's exactly what I would say about it too. It should have been a lot worse, honestly. Like it just it just wasn't.
That's what you do when you have Eddie actually caring. I don't think anyone cared in coming. I hope no one cared in Coming to America too, because if they did, then someone was on PCP or something.
As I hope not to. Um, Scratch says I saw an article saying the Toxic Avenger remake probably won't come out because it's considered unreleasable. Yeah, that's crazy to me when there's for sure worse that's out. I don't know, man. The trailer for that movie looked pretty fucking bad. Like I could see it being deemed unreleasable.
Give the Tubi, they'll release it.
Yeah, it could be a Tubi original. You imagine like that's your career, you just do Tubi original. That's got to be the bottom of the fucking barrel of like, uh,
I mean, that's hard for me to say because I have a I have a subscriber who's a good guy named Rich who writes who's read a couple Tubi originals. But
I'm
he, I
son of
think
a
he knows
bitch.
it
I'm
too.
sorry
So.
about that, Rich.
I mean, I think he knows it too. So he's a good guy. He's like, hey, because he's the same guy that wrote an Oliver Gruner film, and he talk about he doesn't want to say it, I could read between the lines about how Oliver Gruner was a dick.
Oh yeah.
And sorry, Rich, I'll put it out there. You blame it on me.
Well, the
But
thing about
you're
it
like, who
is
the fuck
though,
is that?
I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
I don't say the it's not the writers that I consider it to be the, for a Tubi original. It's the actors. Like the actors, like I mean, if you're signing on for a Tubi original, then things are probably either you're just starting out or things aren't going well. I'll say that.
I mean, I guess for advertising, I'm still surprised just they're still free. They're like one of the last ones to
Me
still
too.
be free. I could think
And
of at least.
it's even weirder when you think about how much shit is on there actually. Like you can basically see every damn Italian horror movie that was ever made for free. Like there's so much of that stuff, like obscure slasher films, obscure Italian horror films, like and that that's just one part of it. But I mean, in terms of their horror section, it's probably the best horror section of any streaming service, which is crazy.
Agree. Definitely agree.
Definitely the first one for me.
Really enjoyed both of them. I would say the first is my favorite. But I guess the way I view it is the first one is more of a comedy and the second one's more of an action movie. And then just whatever my mood is. Honestly, I probably just watch them back to back. Good a
Yeah.
good double feature.
You can't watch the second one though, because that one is sexist. We all know this now. Can't fucking do that.
Yeah, I know.
I watched that movie again recently. It's probably been like only about a month ago, and I was seriously sitting there like, "What in the fuck was he talking about?" Like, it wasn't even that like bad. Like, I mean, Fellowshire's great, but I do not understand that at all because there might have been two scenes in that whole movie where you could construe anything that's being said as like harsh towards that character, but it wasn't even like bad. Like it wasn't even anything like I don't know.
And the lady's an evil killer, hip woman, robber, bad guy.
I
It's
just
not. I
yeah,
can't.
I
I'm not
just
gonna
didn't get
say it.
it.
I want to. I don't want to piss them off again.
I mean, I honestly didn't get it. Like I watched it and I was like, there's got to be something to this. With that in my mind, I was like, there's got to be something in this that like I forgot about, since I watched it. Cause I probably hadn't seen that movie in years, but like there's really not. There's really not anything that I could find.
And when I talked to him, like that's all I was asking. And then like he's like, "Yep," or no, he said, "Sure." I'm like, "Okay, dude." Whatever. Then he get. Then I asked on my Facebook, like, "Am I missing something with this movie?" And then he got pissed. So that I don't really bring it up anymore because I don't want to piss Slippy off more.
I'll bring it up.
But that's my job is to piss people off.
Yeah.
I always
Uh,
piss people off.
yeah, it might have been it. He might have been triggered by the movie or something. I don't know. So we
It's
are
like I remember
actually
back in the day, uh, in like 2011. I I hope it was this guy. I was talking about how bad the Thing prequel trailer was,
hmm,
and then I got like a comment, and the guy said he was the writer of the film. He was like bad about it. I'm like, either this guy's bored and pretend to be a writer for a shitty prequel, or he was a writer for a shitty prequel. So I hope it
it,
was the second one
it
because it
probably
was a
was.
shitty prequel.
It was an awful movie too. He should be ashamed of himself. But we're at 2 hours, Matt. So I guess that's a pretty good run. Um, Wanted to say that Sunday we are doing the slasher slashback summer slashback series continuation, and it's going to be Night School and the Mutilator. And those are the two slasher films, and that'll be a really interesting show with some surprises in there. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any more sales, so we won't be covering that. Thank God, because fuck. I mean, there's only so much money you can spend on Blu-rays and 4Ks. Um, anything coming up, Matt, of note for you?
Uh, for me, just getting back into the swing of things after everything that's gone, uh, in the backdrop there. So just continuing to fulfill the requests people have sent. So it's a lot of random videos of reviews of films I never heard of. A couple, Fatal Charm, which apparently is a. I don't know if you remember this actor, Christopher Atkins, the guy who was in the Blue Lagoon,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
the psycho played a psycho. Apparently, it's a film that was first going to be directed by the guy who did The Changeling, but then he left. And then it's directed by the guy who did Chill the Corn, but it's so bad he took his name off it and it became Alan Smithy. So you know how bad it is that the guy for Chill the Corn is like, I don't want my name attached
That
to this.
guy's like, no, no.
So review for that, Fatal Charm, various other stuff. Pennywise, the documentary on it, which was really good, but I'm a sucker for those documentaries. And more, much more. So thank you for having me on here. It's been fun.
Yeah, man, no problem. You got to be shitting me, Hillbilly Confidential. Wait, Rambo has a channel. What's it called? Are you serious? Like
No,
Rambo's
no
had a
problem. It's
channel
the
longer than we have.
Rambo Rap for Life, all one word. RAMBO RAPH, four as in number four, LIFE. And pretty much every day, just multiple videos of people who have requested stuff, very random stuff. Like today, I ranted about the Gladiator 2 trailer and how much it sucked. Um, another film I saw recently, I uploaded. Did you ever see that weird film, Boxing Helena,
No. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
by the David Lynch's daughter, I believe, was Julian Sands, may he rest in peace, is in love with this girl. So when she gets hit by a car one day, he takes her in and takes her legs off, then ultimately takes her arms off. Now you don't see any of this, so it sounds interesting, but it's like the most boring movie. So how you make that boring? Go see that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird movie though. So
That's
yeah, a
such a
lot of random stuff like that.
yeah, that's such a fucking random movie, dude. Just I'm glad to see though, speaking of random movies, that you really enjoyed I Spit on Your Grave, Deja
Oh,
Vu. Yeah.
yeah, thanks CK. I know you're not
Yeah.
here, but thank you for that. That was an awful fucking film, man.
Dude,
I
if you even attempted to watch that, I knew you would hate it. Like, it's just such bullshit.
Yeah, that was it was 2.5 hours long. The acting was terrible. The production quality was not there. The evil lady was like a hick evil Wings Hauser.
Yeah. Yep.
And the one guy was like a crackhead Rob Zombie. Like Rob Zombie like took a lot of crack and was like emaciated and he
Mhm.
had like the crackhead Rob Zombie. And Camille Keaton was absolutely terrible. Awful acting. And
Yeah,
it was
she's got
like,
that syndrome of where you just forget how to act. I've seen several people do that after they've been out of films for a while.
yeah. Anyway, I did a review of it for those who want to see it. I didn't mean for it to be that long. I just had a lot to say about it. It is a long movie. But if CK saw it, hopefully he liked it. I think you left a comment. Hopefully, you liked it. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
uh,
you broke down like all of the great parts of the film that we were in love with
like,
too.
there's a bit. It's a cemetery, and it's like a real cemetery they shot it. But this one part has like these obvious fake sticks they just put in the middle
Yep.
for the graves of the people they love that died. And it's like, why is it just like five random sticks in the middle of all these graveyard with this actual tombstones? But they just, and they're like 3 centimeters from each other. So I'm like, are they buried on top of each other where these
Yes,
sticks are at? Like, it's like literally 3 feet by 5 feet, but it's five graves made of sticks.
they wasted all their money hiring that drunk old woman at the end for her acting.
Yeah,
That movie, if
awful movie.
anybody in here has never seen that movie, just watch it. Like I just want you to watch it one time because it's first of all 2.5 hours. I don't know why. It's second of all possibly like one of the worst movies ever made. Uh, just it's so bad that it's funny in some spots, like how bad it is.
Ain't damn funny to me, but 2.5 fucking hours. I did have to stop like 40 minutes in, and I just walked around because I'm like, this is so dragging. And
No,
I don't know
no,
why that was made.
no, don't get this confused, by the way. We're not talking about I Spit on Your Grave from the 70s. We're talking about I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu
Deja vu.
from like, I don't remember what year it was, 2000s at some point.
Yeah, I forget.
It doesn't matter.
2013, 2015, somewhere around there. I think it eventually came out 2019, actually, because it was whatever the fuck it came out. It should never come out in the first place.
No. Anyway, yes, I do like the Terrifier movies. Against my better judgment, they've got some of the I like Art the Clown and I like the gore. Um it's probably the most well done gore that has been out in years. Um
Mhm.
anyway, so yeah, Rambo Rav for Life. If you don't know his channel, that's the name of the channel. Somebody put it in the chat. I think it was right here. Check that channel out. As always, Matt, thanks for coming on. Didn't really
Thank
plan
you.
anything for this. Just wanted to talk and bullshit. Uh, and like I said, glad you're all right. Glad things are okay. And hopefully we can get back on a regular kind of routine of doing some of these shows when Mark gets done pulling the balloons out of his ass with the cocaine in them. Yep.
Real quick, like, someone, one last thing. Someone mentioned on the road. I don't know what you, the on the road could be for Twisters.
Ah,
Twisters.
no, please God, no. Ah,
That would be hilarious, though.
I can't imagine how bad that fucking movie will be. I really can't. This is killer though. The clown looks like my wife's mom. I'd love to see your mother-in-law then, dude. That is gonna be something else. Uh yeah. Yeah, that's true, Danny. Yeah. It's all over now. Oh, so until next time and until Sunday when I will be back on here and then probably, try to do something every now and then on Fridays and things like that. Just talking about whatever comes up. I want to do, I tell you, I keep throwing this idea around, but I'm going to figure out a way to do this. So my idea is to do a show. You don't necessarily have to do this one because you watch enough shit and talk about it enough as it is, but I want to do a show that's like Dead Pit is watching. And that's be the name of the show. And it'll just be shit that like I've seen over the past week or whatever. And like a review show of sorts.
I'd be a part of that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and just talk about like what was the best film we saw in the past week, what was the worst film, yada yada yada.
That sounds great.
But that I'll get that off the ground soon.
Cool.
So you can't do those shows on those other fucking streams because they don't watch any of them movies. They just hold them up. Look here, I got this in. Oh no, I don't know anything about it. I got it in. Never seen it. Never even heard of it. So anyway, for Rambo Raft for Live, I am Uncle Bill from Dead Pit, and we will see you guys later, man.
Give us a thumbs up.
Off you butts.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I want you to. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that now.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. Click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.